So it looks like Tayo's walking through some of the different controls. So this is a good time to walk through some of the controls. You only have a couple of buttons. Essentially, you can jump, you can slash. You have sword, and the sword has a magic meter that you can see down at the bottom left of the screen. That is that red and orange and yellow bar down there that emits a magical component off of the tip of the sword. But you can't just spam the sword. That magic meter takes a full second to reload. But you can pick up items along the way. Certain items can improve your magic regeneration speed as well as your magic power. So you'll see him pick up a couple of different items like that along the way. The other component that you have is you can use there's a full screen attack that you can do that reduces your health by 1 bar in exchange for some damage, some iframes, and keeps your magic meter primed for like 4 seconds straight. So those of you that might be familiar with certain other speedruns that are very disciplined when it comes to movement, or think of NES games like Ninja Gaiden, that sort of thing. You always want to slash while you're in the air if you can help it, so that you don't stop moving. This game has a lot of bosses really quick. Here's the first boss, this is the Chimera, and he used his full screen attack to just keep his magic meter primed so that he could just slash the ever-loving heck out of that Chimera. So the Chimera's dead, and on we go to floor number 1. There are hidden doors in this tower as well. There's no real way to know where they are except just fight by randomly slashing the air at the right time. There's the first one, and that will take him from floor 1 to floor 4. And now we're moving on to the second boss in the game, which is the Gold Dragon. He picked a fairy egg out of that treasure chest, which made a fairy appear. The fairy drops health items that are worth about 2 bars of health, but if you slash the fairy as you go, or as the fairy is trying to leave, then she'll drop an extra item. So you'll see that method that he just used to kill the Gold Dragon is going to be pretty consistent for the whole run, where you just prime your full screen attack to keep the magic meter primed, and then you just mash until you get through that phase of the boss's health. The boss will get iframes every quarter of their health bar or so, for the most part. Sometimes you can kind of skip a cycle though if you're really fast, and Tayo is. So a lot of the bosses you'll see die in 3 waves of attack. And yeah, the Xbox 360 version does auto save after each floor. So like I said, he's trying to do a 1cc attempt here, which I find to be very difficult. This is an arcade game, and it was a quarter muncher, as they were often referred to. And one of the features of the game that leads to quarter munching is the game will take half a bar of your health. Your health is in the top left corner. It takes half a bar of your health every 20 seconds or so. You're just slowly bleeding to death, essentially. You saw him flickering blue for a second there. That was a chalice that grants invulnerability for a short window of time. He also has the magic paper right now. He just changed into the blue potion. But the magic paper makes every enemy you kill drop an item, which is super useful if you're looking for health drops and whatnot. But he's going to take on the Skull Chimera here with the blue potion. The blue potion increases your magic damage. So he's just going to kind of chill here. He's going to do 1, 2, 3 cycles of this boss fight. Every time the Chimera gets to a certain health level, he respawns with a bunch of skulls around him. But yeah, easy peasy. The only thing he really had to worry about were the ads, the skeletons spawning off the edges of the screen, because they can be a bit prickly if you just catch them at the wrong time. So he's moving on here. I did not mention the secret door from floor 7 to 11, but there's another one coming up right here. He's going to go from floor 14 to 19. He just ducks and slashes right there. And off he goes to floor 19. Again, lots of stuff going on here. You'll notice right there that he kind of dove into the fire but didn't take any damage. The cool thing about that special full screen technique is you have to be on the ground when you use it, but you can also be touching down on the ground as, like, you can be falling to the ground as, and then trigger it and it'll work. So you can keep yourself from taking damage that way. So Nice picked up the Thief, whose name is Derek, which is also pretty funny. So you've got Alan and Derek here trying to save the day. And the Thief's special attack is that he chucks 2 bombs. Well, he starts with 2 bombs, but as he levels up, because your allies have levels as well, as he levels up, he'll throw more and better bombs, essentially. But that's good, because it kind of serves as an anti-air for enemies that are at a distance. So it's super useful. So now he has the Gauntlet, which instead of increasing your magic power, increases your melee power. And he's going to fight the Celestial Serpents. And he's going to one-cycle this super fast. This thing is not going to live for very long at all. That is just ridiculously fast. He just uses one full-screen technique, and then just really lays into it, and the Gauntlet does a lot of the work right there. So you've got a long stretch here. From 24 to 36, that is just a really painful stretch with a lot, like, floors teeming with enemies. Now, the enemy that causes the most grief in some of these floors coming up is there are moths that are flying around, and they seem pretty harmless. But the moths, if you end up hitting them with your sword, they'll die right away. But if you hit them with anything else but your sword, instead of dying right away, they'll explode. And the explosion deals 3.5 bars of damage if it touches you. And it's got a really wide hitbox. So he's got to be real careful wandering through some of these later floors. So you get some jellyfish here as well. They will occasionally just shoot out some electric fields that can deal a bunch of damage. Those are some of the moths that I was talking about flying around here. He's just got to be really careful about them, making sure to hit them with the sword and not with any sort of other attack. So you see that big Titan there that he's just running away from here on floor 29? That boss is, that little mini-boss, essentially, is not in the Super NES version. Instead, there's a green dragon on that floor. So Alan and Derek are still moving right along. He got the magic paper right at the end of floor 30, which is really important, because he's going to want to hopefully get a bunch of food drops. There are a bunch of jellyfish coming up right around here, and he's hoping that he'll get at least 1 food drop. He didn't really get much. That's a shame. But he's going to keep pressing onwards. Trying to be real careful getting to this door. Well done. Alright, coming up to floor 32. Again, this floor is just full of those moths that are just so pesky and can just deal a ton of damage if you're not careful. Taio's just using some really precisely timed full-screen attacks to try to navigate the floor safely, and he has done. I don't think you can manipulate the RNG for the item drops, Tantai. If it's not already going to be in a specific chest, then there isn't really anything you can do. The one thing you do have going for you is that a lot of the chests are set. So there are items that are definitely going to show up in specific locations. And shout out to the special Capcom item, the Yashichi, that he picked up on floor 33. That is the best health item in the game, because it's a Capcom game. So here is the Hydra. For the Hydra, he's going to run all the way over here and get a magic rod from over in the spikes. He's going to position himself right below this shelf, and he's going to set himself up to spam, and then as soon as he gets through the first cycle, he uses his full screen clear. Oh, he's being really safe. This is really smart. This boss can really get away from you if you are impatient, and those flames hurt like heck. So it was an excellent job by Taio. Really, really nice, safe fight. He can do that fight a whole lot faster, but that's usually where runs can really go to waste. He's doing a great job so far. Yeah, Tristal is correct. The item locations can be juggled. I don't really necessarily know how much juggling there is on this specific version of the game. It feels like a lot of the drops are kind of static, although that magic paper that Tayo picked up on 31, there's like a 50-50 chance that treasure chest is a trap, like just like a fire trap essentially. So he was pretty lucky to get the paper there. So floor 39, this is going to be the last floor that has a secret door. So it's going to take him from 39 to 42. But first he's got to get past one of these titans here. So this titan's going to show up, he's going to slash once, and everything's going to be okay. So it's floor 42. He's navigating this 50-floor tower really fast. It's being nice and safe, because again, at this point, you know, the arcade game really wants to take your quarters away. So it is just throwing mobs of enemies at you. You know, putting spikes on the ceiling. It's all crazy stuff. And bears and mummies are gonna show up. And but again, Tayo's just being nice and safe, trying not to run headlong into anything. Now he's going to get his final sword, which is the Thunder Sword. And the Thunder Sword has the best... that laser attack, that laser magical attack that comes out of the end of it. You can couple it with with a specific item, and the laser beam turns from blue to orange, and it will be the most powerful attack in the entire game. However, it's not because of the nature of how good your full screen attack is and the iframes that it generates and the magic meter priming that it does. Nothing really compares to that. So he's not going to go out of his way to pick up that item. So he picks up the lobster there for 3 extra bars of health. Picks up blue heart there, or blue apple there, and we'll get a fairy. So you get a fairy at like 300,000, 600,000, 900,000, and then 1.3 million points. There's the item that turns your magic beam orange. So he's got that special item right now. However, items only last for 1 floor past the floor that you pick them up on. So there's really no point getting real attached to any of these items. So he just slashed that star treasure chest through the wall, which was pretty hype. There's a lot of hidden health up at the top. Like you can double back into the flames. But again, his health is in pretty good shape. So he's not going to bother going back to get... Oh, that is a really lucky drop. Those are some really good food drops. He got a chicken, some bread, and an apple off of the bear and the 2 lizard men. So he's in really good shape. It's because he's going to pick up, what'd you call it, Tristal? The golden fleece? So he's picked up the golden fleece here to get his weapon all primed. And this Queen Chimera fight is just 3 quick rounds. And off he goes to the very last floor. Yeah, Derek the Thief is very, very powerful to have as an ally. So yeah, last floor. He's killing it. Let's go. So he's gonna work his way over to Drakmar. Not necessarily sure what item he's going to end up with. I feel like he's going to end up with the gauntlet. Usually he ends up grabbing the gauntlet. There it is right there. I think that's the one that he wants. There's a chicken in the second treasure chest from the left. He's going to go grab that to get some extra health, and then he is just going to lay into Drakmar. Drakmar's movement is kind of random, but as long as he keeps his well-timed special techniques, and he just keeps up with him, he should be just fine. He's not taking any unnecessary damage. Oh, this is excellent. The thief died right at the end, and now he has to make the choice. This is where you find out why Drakmar was defeated, but evil wasn't destroyed. Because basically he says, oh, this is in English, so that works out. Basically, he says that you can take the Black Orb, and it's really cool. It gives you eternal life and control of the world. So now he has to choose, does he take it or does he destroy it? And last input. And he says, no, I'm going to destroy it. And he's a stronger heart than the hero that came before him. If you had chosen to take the orb, then instead the game you would drop your sword and you would turn into Drakmar. You would become Drakmar, and at least on the Super NES version, it just gives you a game over sign. So you can technically game over on the last decision after you've already beaten the last boss. But yeah, this is a super quick run. If you can believe it, he did take a couple of safe strats there, but he really did. He was booking. So GG to Taio on that run. That was a wonderful run to watch. It's amazing to me that he can just 1cc this game on command, because I tried to do it for a long time and I could only do it once. Yeah, I can agree with Tristal that the Super NES version is much easier. It's much less, enemy heavy because it has sprite limitations. I will toot my own horn for a second here. I have the world record in both categories of the Super NES version. And I have tutorials out there as well. So if anybody's interested in picking up the Super NES version of this game, let me know. I'd be happy to link you to tutorials and whatnot. It's a really fun game, although it is very laggy, because despite the fact that it reduces sprite limits, here, let me get the link. Even though it deals with some sprite limit issues, so it slows down a lot. It's still a whole lot of fun. But again, GG to Taio. That was a fantastic run. Let me just go and get this link. Where did it go? There it is. There is the link that I just put in the chat for the English restream for tutorials for the Super NES version of the run. So again, I've been Yellsrake. Thanks everyone, and got more great runs coming up. So stick around, stay tuned.